John George Haigh, A Chronicle in Acid and Smoke, translated expanded. Prologue. A quiet yard, a heavy valise, a smell you don't mistake. Crawley wakes slowly. On a late winter morning, the mist hangs between low brick sheds. Only the dogs are working, noses busy around a pile of rubble. A constable has been sent, just in case. He lifts the lid of a metal drum. The air sweetens chemical, head swimming, the pharmacy turned rancid. A small, old-fashioned professor lowers a steel scoop into the cloudy, soapy broth and brings up what gleams like waxy pebbles. Not a skull, not a hand. Tiny gallstones. Nearby, part of a denture. Science does not need a whole body. It needs a trace. And the stubborn myth no body, no murder collapses the way illusions do when you tip acid over them. Part 1. The hedge around the house. He is born 24 July 1909 in Stamford and raised in Outwood, where hedges are neat and gazes are level. His parents are Plymouth brethren, plain faith, tidy rooms, suspicious of the world's distractions. The boy learns 2 skills early, how to play the piano and how to hide a want. He sings treble in a cathedral choir, writes a hand so careful teachers pin it to notice boards, wins scholarships. His success is a quiet hymn that makes him visible and invisible at once. Later he will tell a court about nightmares, forests of crosses turning to trees, the branches beading with blood, and insist they meant something. The court will care less for his dreams than for his bookkeeping. Part 2. First cracks in the enamel. Apprenticeship with motor engineers bores him. Insurance and advertising bore him too. He wants a shorter road, the kind you pave with forged letterheads and oily charm. In London, he chauffeurs William McSwan, a young arcade owner. Then, dressed in borrowed gravitas, he rebrands himself as a solicitor, William Cato Adamson, with impressive offices and bargain shares from probate estates. One misspelled town on the letterhead Guildford instead of Guildford, and the scenery falls down. Prison is his first real teacher. There he reads about Georges Alexandre Sarret, the French killer who used sulphuric acid and tests acid on mice. He also corrects what he thinks was his earlier mistake, leaving victims alive to talk. He comes out believing in a formula. No body, no case. It's tidy. It's also wrong. Part 3. Kensington. The Gentleman Act, and McSwan disappears. London after the Blitz is hungry for respectability. Haigh wears it like a well-cut suit. He meets his old employer McSwan again in a Kensington pub. McSwan introduces him to his parents, Donald and Amy, who own London properties. Envy is not a feeling, it's a plan. On 6 September 1944, McSwan vanishes. Haigh later admits he lured him to a basement on Gloucester Road, smashed his skull with a lead pipe, and slid him into a 40-gallon drum of concentrated sulphuric acid. 2 days later, convinced the body is mostly gone, he pours what's left down a manhole. To the parents he says, "Your son has slipped to Scotland to dodge the call-up." Meanwhile, he moves into McSwan's rooms and collects the rents like a dutiful friend. Part 4. 2 on Gloucester Road. War is ending. Questions return. Why hasn't Billy come back? On 2 July 1945, Haigh invites Donald and Amy separately to Gloucester Road, with the sweetest bait. He's back from Scotland. Let me reunite you. They come, and then they're gone. He sells off their properties for about $8,000, pockets the pension checks, and checks into the Onslow Court Hotel in Kensington, where the concierge learns his name and the fountain in the lobby drowns out any stray thought a conscience might have. Part 5. Champagne, boredom, hunger. There's money, a car, the gentle burn of gambling. and the warm applause due a man with a light touch at the keyboard. But gamblers have horizons that fall away. By 1947, the funds thin. He looks for a new project. He finds Dr. Archibald Henderson, reserved, competent, and his wife, Rosalie, Rose, née Berlin. They're selling a house. He arrives as a buyer, plays the piano at a little housewarming, and in the middle of some benign Chopin notices where the Webley 38 is kept. Fate will call this his overture to $12 February 1948. He rents a small workshop at 2 Leopold Road, Crawley, ferries acid and drums from London, and sets his scene. He fetches Archibald first, "Come see my invention," and shoots him. Then he lures Rose, "Your husband is ill," and shoots her too. Their dog and car he keeps as trophies. The rest he reduces to sludge and turns into letters that move money. Part 6. The Widow with an Idea. At Onslow Court lives a widow, Olive Durand-Deacon Henrietta Helen, Olivia Robarts Durand-Deacon, née Fargus, elegant, practical, and enchanted by her idea for artificial fingernails. She needs an engineer. He is, of course, an engineer. On 18th of February 1949, he takes her down to Leopold Road to look at the prototype, shoots her in the back of the neck with the Henderson revolver, strips her of valuables, including a Persian lamb coat, and tips her into the drum. 2 days pass. Her friend Constance Lane does not accept silence. She goes to the police. Officers check the polite gentleman with the past convictions and, opening his attaché case, find a dry-cleaning receipt for Olive's coat and papers, with the names Henderson and McSwan threaded together like beads. The Crawley workshop lacks a floor drain, so he has poured residues onto a rubble pile at the back. Pathologist Keith Simpson walks the yard like a man panning a dark stream and recovers what acid spares: 28 pounds of human fat, part of a foot, gallstones, and a denture later identified by Olive's dentist. Forensics pulls names out of slurry. Part 7. Tell me frankly, Broadmoor? In interview, he changes costume again to madness. Tell me frankly, he asks Detective Inspector Albert Webb, what are the chances of anyone being released from Broadmoor? The question is actuarial, not penitential. When told the inspector can't discuss such things, he tries a different performance. He confesses to the murders of Durand-Deacon, the McSwans, and the Hendersons, and sprinkles in 3 more: a young man named Max, a girl from Eastbourne, a woman from Hammersmith. That investigation cannot substantiate. Numbers make a better madness. Evidence makes better law. Part 8. The Trial Where the Music Stops. At Lewes Assizes, the stage is set, but roles are assigned by proof, not applause. The Attorney General, Sir Hartley Shawcross, K.C., leads for the crown. This is not a blood-drunk monster. This is a calculating thief who kills for profit. Sir David Maxwell, Fyfe. K.C. defends, leaning on childhood nightmares, vampiric talk, psychiatric reports about a paranoid constitution. The jury hears the piano of his childhood and the dry cleaning receipt from his case, the dreams and the gallstones, the tales of drinking blood, and the forged letters moving money. It takes them minutes. Guilty. Mr. Justice Travers Humphreys sentences him to death. On 10th of August 1949, Albert Pierrepoint opens the trap at Wandsworth Prison with the same calm exactness he brought to every job. Newspapers roar. The Daily Mirror roars too loudly and too soon. Its editor, Sylvester Bolam, is punished for contempt for calling Haigh a murderer, while the trial is still live. The lesson is as old as courts. Proof first, headlines second. Part 9. What the Mask is Made Of. A psychological sketch. He is not the TV demon who kills for the thrill. Violence is a tool. The signature is not ritual. It is a business process. narcissistic scaffolding. He needs to be liked. Suit, manners, a piano piece, just the right length. He enjoys being the helpful man in the lobby far more than he ever enjoys the money itself. Antisocial core. Chronic deceit, exploitation of trust, document fraud as a craft, lack of empathy. These are not slips, they are policy. Gambler's tempo. Money is fuel. When it's spent, a new project begins. The shrinking interval between killings follows the logic of a bankroll, not of compulsion. A myth treated as math. No body, no murder becomes a private religion. He is technically neat and legally naive, and he underestimates two enemies, forensic science and paper trails. Childhood double life. Strict religion does not make a killer, but it teaches certain social magics. Outward respectability, inward secrecy. He masters both. Yes, he told doctors he drank blood. Yes, the press baptized him vampire. The court weighed the talk against the planning, profit, and post-crime behavior and found calculation, not psychosis. Part 10. Restore the names. Brief portraits. William Donald Billy McSwan. Young Londoner tied to family property business. Disappears 6th and 9th of September 1944 after being lured to a Gloucester Road basement. His parents are told he has gone to Scotland. Donald and Amy McSwan. Billy's parents. Disappears 2nd July 1945, summoned for a surprise reunion. Their properties are sold. Their son's rents quietly redirected. Dr. Archibald Henderson and Rosalie, Rose Henderson, née Berlin, met Haigh via a house viewing and a house warming where he played piano. On 12th of February 1948, he brings them to Soothed Leopold Road, Crawley in turn, and shoots them. He keeps their car and dog. Henrietta Helen Olivia Robarts, Durand-Deacon, née Fargus, Olive, widow, inventive, resident of Onslow Court, vanishes 18th of February 1949. Her fate is established not by a body, but by dentures, gallstones, and fat lifted from the rubble behind the workshop. Haigh claimed 3 more victims. No evidence matched the boasts. Part 11. How he was caught. Craft, not luck. It begins not with a corpse, but with a disruption in routine. An organized widow vanishes, leaving a trail that does not fit her. Check the circle. The circle includes a helpful neighbor with old fraud convictions. Search his bags. Out falls a receipt for her coat. In his papers, the beadwork of other names. Search the workshop. Note the absence of a drain and the presence of a rubble tip. Let forensic medicine do its patient work. Pan the mulch for what resists acid. Then let forensic dentistry link a prosthetic to a human. The rest is arithmetic. Documents, dates, assets, withdrawals, forged signatures. For a man who worshipped chemistry, paper and teeth were the elements that undid him. Part 12. Errors of police and courts? More like holes in the system. This isn't the tale of a brilliant detective's one mistake. It's a portrait of 1940s vulnerabilities and the man who farmed them. Paper was trusted. Agents and solicitors accepted letters and powers of attorney with only a gentleman's gloss for identity. Haigh, fluent in font and tone, moved assets with stationery and poise. After cases like this, verification got meaner. War fogged attention. An absent adult male during conscription? Of course he might be, up in Scotland. Wartime made disappearance sound reasonable, even polite. Fragmented records. Separate boroughs, separate stations, separate missing persons ledgers. Without a central view, seriality is a rumor, not a graph. The myth itself. No body, no murder circulated in popular culture and in Haigh's head. His trial is now a standard classroom answer to that myth. The law requires proof, not a scenic body. Press pressure. The Daily Mirror contempt ruling is a reminder that newspapers can derail fairness by sprinting past procedure. Part 13. The places that made the mask fit. Onslow Court Hotel, Kensington. Not opulent, comfortably respectable. Teacups with lemon slices. A doorman who knows names. Voices pitched low. Perfect camouflage. Haigh is the neighbor who carries your suitcase. The man who pays on time. The one who can pop something in the post for you. He never says too much. The lobby's whispering fountain covers the static. 2 Leopold Road, Crawley. The inverse, an address of means and ends, drums, acid, tools, a rubble heap for what a London basement once flushed down a drain. In London, the manhole swallows. In Crawley, the yard confesses. Part 14. Money. The river underneath. Follow the cash, and you see the scheme clearly. Each death yields not only jewels or notes, but identity on paper, the ability to impersonate an owner, redirect a rent, liquidate property. He does not merely rob, he replaces. It is identity theft executed with a nib pen and a straight face. The sums are not princely, but a gambler's flame is hot and short. He invests in nothing but tempo. Part 15, Timeline, Expanded Ribbon. 24 July 1909, born in Stamford, raised in Outwood, Plymouth Brethren home, only child, piano, and choir. 1934-1939, marries Beatrice Betty. Hamer, imprisoned for fraud, family ostracizes him, adopts William Cato Adamson persona. Guildford misspelled on letterhead, 4-year sentence. Reads of Sarret, experiments with mice in acid. 1943, freed, an accountant in an engineering firm, respectability, costume acquired. Wikipedia, 6th September 1944. William Donald McSwan disappears. Body dissolved. Residue poured into manhole at Gloucester Road. 2nd July 1945. Donald and Amy McSwan disappear. Assets realized, $8,000. Haigh moves into Onslow Court Hotel. 12th of February 1948. Dr. Archibald and Rosalie, Rose, Henderson murdered at 22 Leopold Road, Crawley. Their dog and car kept. The rest turned into letters and checks. 18th February 1949. Olive Durand-Deacon vanishes. Friend Constance Lane reports her missing. Workshop search yields documents and a dry cleaning receipt. Yard yields fat, foot, gallstones, denture identified by her dentist. Spring-summer 1949. Confession with unproven extras. Plea of insanity. Preparations for trial. July-August 1949. Lewes Assizes. Shawcross versus Maxwell Fyfe. Swift verdict. Sentence of death. 10th August 1949. Wandsworth Prison. Albert Pierrepoint performs the execution. Daily Mirror punished for contempt. Part 16. Postscript. What the case taught. Forensics grows louder. Teeth, stones, fats, and trace chemistry replace the melodrama of a corpse. Business practice grows stricter. Verifications harden. Helpful friends of the family stop being given pens and trust. Police communication grows more centralized. Patterns are made from ledgers, not rumors. Media standards clarify the boundary between reporting and prejudicing. Cambridge would one day open a cache of Hay's letters to scholars and underline the simplest truth of his life. The murders were for money, and the no-body myth was the ruinous superstition that emboldened him. Final note: the chemistry of memory. 2 photographs bracket the story. In one, a well-kept man in a good coat smiles on the court steps. In the other, an image you can't print. There's a steel scoop lifting gallstones out of a gray, soap-bright mess. Between those frames lies the whole grammar of justice. Behind a pleasant face, there are always traces. Haigh tried to dissolve the visible. Forensics sought the stubborn. Law weighed paper with teeth. And the names, Billy McSwan, Donald and Amy, Archibald and Rosalie Henderson. Olive Durand-Deacon ring out again. which is the only music anyone should permit in this story.